Fantastico Disasterpiece Theatre.
Señor Donde disponibles cabrones.
No, I told you this like 2 or 3 months ago, all right? Like 3 months ago.
You most certainly did not.
I told you they were going to be doing a couple of specials, all right? I said this. We were going to be hosting indie films from some very talented indie filmmakers.
No, you left me here and drove your tired ass to Pennsylvania to go to the Mahoning Drive-In. You said nothing about having guests on the show.
I told you, all right? When I was judging the films at Joe Bob's Jamboree, I said that I was going to go and ask some of them to come on the show this fall. I told you this. Well, I don't know why you're so goddamn surprised by it.
No, I thought you were joking. How was I supposed to know that you actually met people and they actually wanted to talk to you?
You know, I'm a likable guy, right? And people seem to be enjoying my show. Like some people here are watching it. So I don't know what your problem is.
Yes, well, there's no accountability for taste, I suppose.
You're a dick.
You're morbidly obese.
Yeah, well, I'm vegan now, so you can kiss my ass. All right? Anywho, hola, hip, cool, fantasticats, and welcome to a very special episode of Fantastico's Disasterpiece Theatre. I'm your host that's haunted by this ghost and sick of this prick, legendary luchador Gringo Fantastico.
Back to the fucking ghost line, huh? You're about as creative as WWE creative.
Dude, I told you, okay, we're not gonna take sides on this whole which is the better wrestling promotion. Is it WWE? Is it AEW? Is it 90210? I told you, we're not doing this. Just let this. It's okay to like both shows, people. All right, just let you know. It's okay to like them both.
Yes, whatever helps you sleep at night, champ.
Anywho, as I was saying before Captain Dipshit interrupted me, this is a very special episode in a series of several, all right?
Jeez, Jehoshaphat, we have to do multiples of these.
Jehoshaphat? Wow, that was lame, all right? Yeah, okay, yes, and we don't have to, we get to, all right? We get to watch some movies from some awesome indie filmmakers, and I was saying earlier before I was interrupted, we actually get to hang out with some of them. So we're going to start off the first of our series with a film from a fellow Canuck.
Oh, wonderful. What is it? A documentary about maple syrup, Tim Hortons, and hockey?
You know, that's just pretty ignorant, dude, all right? And even if it was, I would go out of my way to watch a documentary about maple syrup, Tim Hortons, and hockey. Yeah, why don't you just go off?
Yeah, well, why don't you go fuck off?
Anywho, right now, I want to welcome to the show from New Way Media Productions, Mitch Branget, beaming into the compound via satellite.
We don't have a satellite feed.
Just open the damn magical portal or whatever the hell it is so we can talk to Mitch. Here, I'm going to turn you. Okay? Now open the portal. Okay. Thank you. Damn, it's like pulling teeth around here trying to get him to do anything. All right, so, oh, there he is. Okay, awesome. So, yeah, okay, so you're right here. I can see you just fine. All right. So, hey, Mitch, how's it going? Welcome to the show. We're going to get right into this for you. So, I want to know a little bit about your background. And first off, what part of our native land do you reside?
And well, actually, first off, I want to say thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for just taking the time to just care enough to have a special guest and everything on the show. Like, thank you so much. It's I'm very excited to be here.
No problem.
So, what part of our native land do you reside?
Oh, so I am born and raised in Windsor, Ontario, which is like a stone's throw away from Detroit. So
Okay.
very, very close to Michigan and Detroit there. I think we're technically the southernmost point of Canada, I think, which is like weird because like we're north, but we're like, yeah, it's the southernmost city we have.
Awesome.
But yeah, and so yeah, Windsor, Ontario, right next to Detroit there.
When did you get involved in film?
I first got involved in film around, like I officially started experimenting in film about 2005. I think was around the first time I sort of grabbed, my parents' little handy cam. And when we were on vacation, whether it was like Disney World or Universal and stuff, like I'd want to film all the rides, and because I'd seen all the movies, I'd grown up a huge movie nerd. Like from as young as I can remember, I've always been a movie fan. And it was around, yeah, when I was like, around 10 years old or so, where it was like, want to know what? No, this is something I actually want to like experiment with, and no, what I have a camera, I have a few friends, let's go film something stupid. And that was sort of the start of it, where there was calling it a script wasn't even accurate. We would just sort of have the most vague notions of plot lines and just improv almost the entire thing with a couple of special effects involved. Because that's really what got me to say, want to know what? I don't just want to watch movies anymore. I want to go out there and try doing it. Was that the special effects? Seeing the Frankenstein's monster and the bride and the creature from the Black Lagoon and Dracula and just all of like the early sort of classic monsters that I was exposed to. And then going in and watching, The Fly, and then by like 7 and 8, sneaking in and watching the Friday the 13th movies and getting to experience Jason Voorhees. I knew from a very young age that I wanted to make monsters in some way. And the earliest way that I figured would be the easiest to sort of get there, because being a director wasn't even a possibility in my head back then. Like being a little kid, like being, the like directors are Steven Spielberg, and all these like crazy A-listers that, you look up to as gods when you're just a little kid. But what I loved was when I would watch the making ofs and like the double VHS cassette tapes, and you could throw in the making ofs, was they would have the interviews with Stan Winston or about Jack Pierce or Tom Savini, and they'd be talking about the makeup effects and how they made the monsters and created all the gore and all the gags. And I loved it. And them talking about the materials they used and everything, it was like, I can do that. I can go to the store on Halloween and get a bunch of liquid latex. I can go to the store and get a bunch of Caro syrup and food coloring and make fake blood. I can ask my parents to drive me to Canadian Tire and get a garden sprayer. And so it was just like, when they were telling me all these things about the tools they were using and really how rudimentary and simple they were, it was like you can literally just go down to Kmart or Costco or Canadian Tire and just get it. And so I did. And then once it was like, all right, I want to make these special effects, but how can we put them in a scene? Like, let's come up with a scene to shoot around the special effect. And that was sort of the earliest experiences in filmmaking that I had, was just sort of having a couple of blood pumps and some, ripped t-shirts and some zombie makeup and saying, all right, what's a story we can make around this?
That's awesome.
And what inspired you to get into film? I'm just asking you some questions.
In terms of like that moment, I would say it was really two films that solidified it. And those two films I would have to say were Bride of Frankenstein and the first Jurassic Park. Because seeing those, I think, I was maybe like 4 or 5 is when I remember watching them. So I may have even like, my parents may have been throwing on the VHS earlier than that. But it's like, it's just being at that young and your imagination is so fresh and such like and still in its prime development. Seeing dinosaurs, living and breathing on screen in front of actors. And seeing again these like Boris Karloff in the monster makeup and all these creatures were so I don't there was nothing I'd ever seen before. It was like stuff you could only sort of read about like in books and you would just get sort of these vague pencil drawings, but it wasn't real. You didn't see these monsters living and breathing and you felt like you could touch them and that was a world that you could be a part of. When I saw those films, that's when that moment changed. And when it was like, oh no, this is how I want to spend the rest of my life. These are, the characters I want to make. These are the characters I want to be a part of making. And that to me was a really life-changing moment. Again, seeing Stan Winston with the 20-foot animatronic T-Rex in the rain sequence and everything, and it blew my mind. And it was at a time where I just thought, wait, if this is an option of life, then that's what I'm going to do. Like, what do you mean everyone isn't doing this? Like, why the hell wouldn't everyone choose to do this? Like, that's the best job in the world. And yeah, I guess, and I at the time and still now, I guess, had people around me crazy enough to support me and believe in it and not tell me, no, you're insane, don't do that, go be a plumber or something.
Alrighty, well tonight but the audience doesn't know, we're going to be watching your short film Dreamer's Journey, okay? This flick of yours really stands apart from a lot of short films that I've seen. It's really well done.
That's because the ones you usually watch are hot garbage.
Don't you need to concentrate on the portal? Why don't you just shut your mouth? We have a guest, all right? God.
Yeah, this movie's probably more hot garbage since you chose it. No offense, Mitch.
Anywho, so Dreamer's Journey, all right? It was pretty interesting, and I watched it a few times. So I could let all your imagery sink in, and that way I could make sure that I didn't misinterpret the flick's narrative. So tell me, just in case I'm way off in left field, what is this flick about without spoiling anything prior up to us watching it?
Just make sure you speak monosyllabically so the luchador over here can understand you.
Shut the hell up, Francois, all right? Or I'll take your other f***ing eye. Yeah. Anywho, back to it. Sorry about the interruptions. So just, Mitch, give me like a log line or like a short premise. Just introduce your film for us, all right?
All right, so the film that we are about to watch is the film that I wrote, directed, and produced in my final year during my undergrad at film school, and it's called Dreamer's Journey. And we attempted to explore the ideas of sleep paralysis, the idea of sort of floating through your normal sort of day job while you're awake, and then the only time you really get to experience life in this sort of post-modern capitalist world is in your dreams. Except what if in that dream world that you're in, you're recollecting horrific memories, ones that may or may not have happened? That is the premise of the film we're about to watch. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and if you don't, I hope you have a few drinks along the way.
Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and fire it up. We'll play it in its entirety, and then we'll question Mitch about what we just watched.
We'll probably be questioning Mitch's sanity.
Dude, can't you just ever not be a
Well, man, perhaps a little too colorful on the language. Bad, Fantastico. Back to my point. I've watched his movie. I feel warranted in questioning his sanity. And perhaps what asylum he escaped from.
Mitch, don't listen to him, okay? Like, he's just being a dick.
I don't mean it maliciously. I'm just saying that the imagery is the work of a wonderfully mad person. Don't assume you know what I'm speaking about. You know what happens when you assume.
Yeah. You make an ass out of you and me. I get it. I know the joke.
No, you just come across as being a fucking so shut up and let's watch our friend Mitch and his insanity.
Fine. All right, Mitch, you ready to go? So, projector guy, let's go ahead and fire up Dreamer's Journey.
In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. For if I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. If I should live for many days, I pray the Lord to guide my ways. Amen. remember this place. Daniel. There you are. Hey, buddy. It's okay, Daniel. It's all right. Everything is going to be okay. Daddy's here. Who is he? Hey, buddy. Everything's gonna be okay. What's wrong?
You never remember.
What?
I tell you every time, but you still don't know.
I'm sorry? I don't understand.
You promise you remember this time?
No, I'm not gonna sit here while you lecture me on how to discipline my own son.
Lecture you?
Yes, that's all you do. All you do is fucking lecture me.
Why are you starting an argument right now?
I'm not the one having an argument. You're the one having an argument.
Can we stop? He can hear us right now. I don't know.
Good, maybe he has to hear. See what I go through.
Mommy? Mommy? I need help.
What is it, buddy?
I can't reach my monkey.
I'll help you.
How many times do I have to tell you? Don't interrupt when Mommy and Daddy are talking.
Fucking wake up!
Holy Spirit. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep, for if I die,
What is it? What is it?
All right, welcome back, Fantasticats. Now that we've watched that crazy ass short, Mitch, how the hell did you come up with this idea? All right, there's a lot of crazy things up in this bitch, so you're gonna have to lay it down for us.
So the entire sort of base of the film structure was Charles Dickens' A Christmas Story, where Scrooge is going through these different memories, and each memory is a different level of subconscious. I literally just sort of plucked that as my structure that I knew I wanted to rework as a story about sleep paralysis. And so going through and looking at, again, that structure, I knew that each level we had to go deeper. And so I started thinking about a little bit about Dante's Inferno and the idea of his psyche. Like, we're not just going, like Scrooge, we're not just going one level into his psyche, we're going another level deeper in hell. Because his own subconscious is his hell. These memories are what's trapping him in this sort of zombie-like state during the day, and why he's being tormented at night is the entire thing is a cycle.
And also you have this dream guide in pajamas leading him through these weird doors. I get it, but without the context you picked up later, it's some unnerving, terrifying imagery. All right, so this isn't, correct me if I'm wrong, his burnt to a crisp mother from the wreck. Right?
I'd say only about 1/3 of people have asked me that question, and so it's not like a lot of, I'm not sure if a lot of people even think about what her character meant, if they just think that, oh, she's literally just a guide that's just sort of there helping him along. But the ones that have thought about the film or had a few viewings of it and I've gotten to watch it more than once, that is a question that sort of comes up in like oh, wait a minute, yeah, it's sort of like, it's always after they see the dad again, is when they see him in demon form, they're like, okay, wait a minute, we see the two parents. If that's him, that must have been her the whole time.
All right, so the next thing that made me really uncomfortable was the scene where the father comes in. Without making any assessments, what was going on with that? I mean, it came across as being kinda...
He wants to know if his dad was being all molesty like that guy that made Clown House.
Yeah, it kind of felt that way.
So that was, yes, we purposefully made it non-specific. We knew what we wanted to get across was that the father, what we wanted to get across was that the father created an uncomfortable memory. Originally in the script, it was a lot more angry. In the early drafts, he went into the bedroom and slammed it behind him and was sort of screaming at him. And as the drafts went on, my brother and I were talking about the character, because my brother, who I co-developed the story with, plays the father. And so we were talking about the character, and we figured out, we were want to know what, the scene one will just play much scarier and much more creepy if instead he's just, the direct words we used was, if he's screaming, it'll feel too Rob Zombie. It'll feel a bit too white trash, which wasn't what we wanted, where we thought it would retain a much more subtlety creep factor if it was this whispering, and if we did the sort of exact opposite tone of the original draft of how it was written, and the entire thing is this whisper tone to it and this overly soft nature. because that's the thing is I wanted to leave it open to interpretation. Where is the father again a point of bad memories? Yes. Is he abusive in some kind of way? Yes, as we see how he sort of belittles the mother in front of him in the car sequence, and we see him just sort of being a bit of an asshole throughout that entire bit. But I didn't want to make it too specific about what kind of abuse it was. I sort of wanted to leave the audience open to that, because if you remove the creepy tone of voice and the tense music, it could be played innocent if you want it to. And so I wanted it to sort of be creepy enough where it would be suggestive, but I wanted it to also just sort of be left open to, he's an abusive figure, but I didn't want to be too specific about, oh, he's directly molesting him or sexually abusing him, as much as he's a very much, this malevolent, sort of authoritative, Eye of Sauron figure that's always sort of under his finger permanently. And what kind of abuse that translates to is up to the audience, but it's like we wanted to make it suggestive, but yeah, it's like I didn't want to play it up as, oh, he's directly this. I didn't want to show a direct molestation scene or anything like that. I wanted to sort of leave it a bit vague.
I don't want to completely dissect your flick, all right? I don't want to do that. But so now he's here talking to his younger self, and then we now find out he's repressing some serious messed up memories it was pretty easy to decipher that.
Unless you're a goddamn moron, I'm surprised you got it, to be honest.
Shut it, Candy Dish, all right? Anywho, now we see the wreck, and his parents go up like the Chicago fire, right? Nice imagery there with the burning father, by the way.
That was definitely one of a very rewarding scene to do. Yeah, that we knew. I knew we didn't just want I knew we needed them to die somehow. It was actually my VFX guy, who's another good friend of mine, who I've done a whole bunch of practical work when he's directing his passion projects and stuff. I was talking about how we could kill off the parents, because I knew it needed to be some kind of accident that would have them both be together, like it would all happen to all of them. But I didn't really know if we could do a car crash. I didn't know if that was just too out of our budget, out of our time constraint, or what. I didn't know if that was too out of scale for us. And just sending a few, I actually took a lot of inspiration from the Babadook, if you've seen that film.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The opening scene when they're like doing that driving sequence, and then boom, the bright light comes in, and then they do that sort of pull away where she gets lowered onto the bed. I showed him that with my cinematographer as my inspiration of just, can we do something with this? And both of them just sort of looked at each other and were like, oh yeah, I think so. I think we could do that. And that's what it started. And after we knew that the car was going to get hit, it just sort of, in a quick sort of Facebook conversation, like, yo, can we set them on fire? Like, is that something that we could do digitally? Like, because obviously we were using my parents' real car, so we couldn't torch the inside of it. And so it was just like, can we do it and it not look stupid and cheesy? Like, can it actually look passable? And he just sort of looked at, I sent him a little test shot of like me holding the camera and doing this sort of lift up with the rack focus just in the daytime in the back seat. And, in an afternoon, boop, 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 dropped some assets on, dropped in some smoke. And he's just like, if we just light it, if we get like some fire flicker in the car, like as a lighting effect, just to actually help play with the colors and everything and the shadows going on. If we can just light it naturally and get some natural, like some practical fire flicker on set, oh yeah, we can absolutely do that. And, bada boom, bada bing, he said we could, and yeah, he absolutely nailed it. And I did some of the other visual effects. When it cuts back to Kitu screaming, I did all of the embers and smoke flying by on his reverse shot. So I had Jendo doing the parents on fire, and then all of like the embers and ashes and smoke flying in, I did on Kitu's reverse shot.
So after the not so molesty scene, I just wanted to watch him burn like Darth Vader, okay? Because I thought it was kind of molesty at first. So here's the part that confused me a little. Not saying it wasn't freaking cool, but what's with the sacrificial dude and drinking the blood and it's his dad? How'd that come about? And could you shine a little bit of light onto that, because some of the viewers might be a little confused.
Yes, this is my favorite part.
And so now what we're seeing is a sort of the entity of his father. We're seeing the sort of evil soul of that, again, the torment and the abusive figure. We're seeing the root of the evil that was in that man. That's what that is representing, is he's not just facing his father in the car anymore, as he's facing the monster that was inside of his father.
Awesome. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I had everything right. Okay, so finally we have him comforted by what we now realize is his mother. Some pretty cool practical effects you had there. They're pretty neat. So what was that process like? Like, what'd you do there?
I designed it and applied most of it, but then we had a we had a team to essentially help me with the coloring of it, because I would pre-paint a lot of the appliance faces. Me and my producer did all of the sculpting. I casted my brother's face, and our other actress who was playing the dream guide, Sam Lillian, casted her face in silicone, got the plaster molds of their face, and we did the entire sculpt of it, of the creature effects on them. Then we did gelatin appliances from those molds. And so I applied it onto our actors, and most of it was pre-painted, but for all the blending and the hair work, I had a few assistants. So I had my good friend, Emily. She returned after she was in Canada, I think she was here, as an international student, because she's back in Egypt now doing a whole bunch of film stuff for I think it's for the CBC equivalent of what in Egypt, so she's off doing that kind of stuff now. And then we had a young apprentice. I think she was only in grade 10 at the time, similar to when I started off apprenticing at the university. And it was I sort of just had an open thread on my Facebook of, hey, is there anyone looking to get their first kind of gig, like makeup gig stuff on a movie? And one of the people just tagged, I'm not sure if it was their daughter or niece or someone, in the thread. And I checked out her work, and I was like, yeah, no, you fit the makeup style of what I need. And so she was great. She got rides. I forget, I think it was one of the producers or one of the actresses. I think it was me. I think it was actually the mom of the little boy that played the young Daniel. I think his mom drove the assistant makeup artist back and forth. But so we had those two assistants with my producer, Sebastian, because he loves getting his hands dirty with blood and gore and stuff. He's much older than me. My producer, he was the one that first gave me my shot in doing effects for film. I was 15, turning 16, when he was wanting to do his first sort of big special effects film when he was starting university, and so he hired me out. The film didn't get finished. They were shooting on tape. Someone lost the tape. They cut a trailer together, and that's all that exists of it. But him and I have kept in a fantastic relationship since then, and I've pulled him out to be producer on my last two films. And so he's someone that always sort of helps supervise the other makeup team members, but it was mostly me as well. But in terms of sculpting, my producer helped sculpt, and then we had two assistants on set. Because like I said, my background is special effects. So often when I'm writing the scripts, I'm already thinking about the special effects. It's almost like pulling off the practical effects stuff is far easier and often comes way more ahead than my basic storyboards for just figuring out how I'm going to do the coverage of an emotional scene where it's just two characters talking. That to me is so much harder than knowing, all right, we only have one angle that's going to look good to use a fake head and blow out the back of it, because if the second we turn 20 more degrees, it's going to give away everything we're stuffing into it and all that kind of stuff. So like that to me comes a lot more natural, just figuring out and designing the effects, where I'm still learning how to sort of shot list all the more dramatic scenes.
Well, I just have to say that the special effects were complete badassery, so...
Yes, I have to agree. It's pretty damn cool.
Even Francois agrees, all right? And that's pretty huge, so you gotta be happy about that.
That's just not true.
Of course it is. You hate everything.
No, I just hate your crippled lucha ass.
Anywho, all right. So what was the filming process like for this? How many days did it take you guys? Like, what was your budget? Camera? Like, what kind of camera did you use? Things like that. Inquiring minds want to know. Remember that shit? So anyway, give me the LD. I think that means low down or something. Give me the low down.
So yeah, we had 6 days. We had 2 weekends, and that was it. Because essentially, how it works is there's only one Arri Alexa Mini, which is the camera that is the newest baby that the program got. So like it was my last year in the undergrad. I wanted to shoot on it. I needed to shoot on it, but the master's kids that were in the master's program then, when I was in my last year of the undergrad, they also sort of had first priority booking of it. But then there was also the other student who, because essentially how it works is you pitch, we have to backtrack a little bit to just sort of talk about how production in modern film schools. So actually in your film school, did everyone make a film, or did you have to pitch and get voted for your film to get made?
They basically, what they did was they just had us in groups, and they just said, if you guys figure out what you want to do, they kind of let us do whatever we wanted. They were just like, but your grade's going to count on it. So, figure it out. This is your chance to, not f up.
Well, I mean, and content-wise, they sort of did the same for us. They were just sort of, hey, whatever you think you can pull off, go for it. But if you don't pull it off, and if you don't have a film to show, yeah, you're gonna fail. But what happens is everyone in their lab, when in first year, everyone in their lab had to pitch. As more kids dropped out of the program, and it went from a program of 150 to like 35 of us in like the main senior project class. Essentially, we stopped pitching in labs, and we would just pitch in the direct class. But everyone that wants to be a director that has a script that they want to make, you have to go up and you have to turn on your PowerPoint and you got to pitch it. And you could have only one person against you, or you could have 10 other people against you. And it all comes down to votes, where everyone writes down, it's always 2 films always get made. And so everyone writes down the 2 films that they either want to see get made or that they directly want to work on. And they hand those into the teacher, and whoever the professor is dumps them out of a hat, opens them up, reads up the tallies, and the 2 films that get the main, like the most votes, are the 2 films that get made. And so luckily I was in a position enough with my special effects and watching enough directors where I was able to get my pitch in first year. And since I got that pitch in first year, I was able to sort of say, all right, we did it last year. This one's going to be even better. And I just was able to sort of ride that until every year my film was always one of the 2 to get made.
Nice.
So flash forward to senior project, there's now the master's students that want to use the same camera as me. And now there's the other student who was the second pitch that got voted that is going to be using the same camera. And we need to have the film like a first cut done and presented by exams, by like December 10th or whatever it is, the last day. And I knew I needed way more time on the pre-production. I knew I needed to lock down the overnight summer camp, because I'd worked at that summer camp when I was a teenager. So but I needed to sort of prep it, and bringing the hay bales there. I needed to sort of bring Callum, like the DOP, and my gaffer there, so they can see it and they can know the space that we're going to be working with. So I knew I couldn't start shooting until at least the last week of October. If not, I knew I wasn't going to be able to start shooting until November. And as it turned out, yeah, I was exactly right. I needed that time just for us to block everything out, figure everything out, bang out casting. You know, we needed to figure out, like, I'll lock down all the crew. I needed to make sure that my buddies could come down from Toronto to help us out. We needed to make sure that sort of everyone from the class was in the right positions. Because I told them from the start, I don't want you to be at a position where, oh, this is going to be my first time trying this. I'm like, I want you guys that know your position and that like what you're going to be doing, and you're going to be in your zone and you're going to be proud of it. And so, you know, making sure, all right, everyone that's in the costume department knows, you know, the wardrobe to choose from, because I just ransacked a whole bunch of different like thrift stores and everything and just threw them all kinds of different wardrobes and stuff. And I was like, all right, I want to run some early like color tests on, just see how it's going to hit the light, if it's going to look too bright, too shallow, that kind of stuff. Do we want the blue polka dots? Do we want the red polka dots? And so all that stuff easily took up, until the second week of November. And then bam, we immediately started shooting on, it was like whatever the first weekend of the second week of November was. And then we shot the week after that. And then I had about 2.5 weeks to assemble all the footage, then cut down that just the assembled like cut into something that was actually resembling a first draft. So polish it down to a first draft, and then try to bullshit some sample VFX in there, you know, so they weren't going to be tracked at all. It would just sort of be sitting in place fire when like the camera's moving, but the fire's just stuck there really early, just sort of. And then a lot of the background removal for the Black Abyss room with the bed, I didn't remotely have enough time to track the background, to do all that removal. So all that stuff was still in there, like all the floor and everything was still in those shots. And I just sort of had to show the rough cut of it it was like the end of the first week of December was when our semester ended. And so it was a tough timeline. And luckily we took the time we needed in pre-production so that we could nail it in 6 days. And then once we had that 6 day of shooting, the rest of it was just figuring out, all right, what kind of, again, digital assets do we need? So then looking at and spending a couple $100 on action VFX, fire elements, and, some little glass hit elements for when the car hits up and all that kind of stuff. And so that was really all we had to deal with afterwards. But yeah, in total, like from when we started shooting to when we had to present it, it was maybe like 3.5 weeks. And that was all, we had 2 music tracks done in time. The rest of it was temp score. We had the main theme, that opening do, 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 like that little build up there on the piano. We had that track done. And then we had the throat singing stuff for when he lands in the hell room with his dad. We had that sort of Mongolian throat singing style with the drums and everything in the background. When then the strings come up, we had that bit worked out. Everything else was just temp score, just sort of finding other, copyrighted horror tracks that like from big movies, like from Friday the 13th and John Carpenter films and that kind of stuff, and just dropping those in there just to hold the vibe of what we would do later. And then, we got a 98 on it, absolutely killed it. Everyone was blown away by the rough cut, even with, just the sample VFX in there. They knew what we would do now that we had a few months to polish it up. Everyone was very excited to see the finished thing. And and luckily it's had its chance to be seen at a whole bunch of festivals, which I've been extremely grateful for.
I just wanted to let you know how much I really enjoyed this flick. It was even better the second and third time. I think I watched it about 5, and it got better each time. I picked up on more things. So anyway, Mitch, thank you for being here for tonight on the show. You're welcome back anytime you want. This has been Dreamer's Journey with writer, producer, director Mitch Branget from New Way Media Productions. Go check out their YouTube channel. Mitch, is there anything you want to say to the audience before you go back to your own world and out of my personal hell?
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
Alrighty, well, like I said, thank you, Mitch, for being here and taking the time out of your schedule to talk to us, me, not really tough. Anyway, good luck with everything you have coming up. Keep me in the loop, and like I said, you're back here. You're welcome back anytime. So just come back. You want to talk about a movie or something, you come back and talk to me. Anywho, Fantasticats, that's it for this part of the Fantastico Disasterpiece Theatre Super Ultra Mega Indie Filmmaker Showcase. We'll be doing another one, I think, on October 16th with another film, a full feature film with a couple of really, really talented filmmakers. So, with that said, for this stupid paper mache piece of shit, I am Gringo Fantastico, and we'll see you next time on the next part of the showcase on Fantastico Disasterpiece Theatre.
Yes, I'm going to kill you in your sleep. And since you heard that, Mitch, well, looks like I'm going to kill you in your sleep as well.
Shut the f*** up, alright? I'm just tired of it. Anywho, everybody, have a good night. And thank you, Mitch. I'm waving to him like he's in heaven or something, but he's just from this jackass, so I don't know. There's all kinds of weird shit going on around here, and I don't understand any of it. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can check out the rest of the parts of this, as well as the earlier episodes of Season 3. And you can also check out my show, Fantastico's Film Frenzy, as well as the upcoming shows, Luchas and Fantastico Sucks at Games, where there's truth in advertising. So, like I said, take care, everyone. Don't hurt each other. Try to not be dumb, all right? Just do what you got to do. Stay healthy. Try to make sure everyone around you is healthy. And, yeah, that's all I got for you. So, anyway, take care, everyone. And check out more of Mitch Branget and New Way Media Productions stuff. So, October 16th is the next part, and we'll be watching a really, really cool movie, and it's going to be a one-night only thing. So make sure that you check that out, because I'm gonna try to get him to stretch it out a week so we have more time than just the one day. But we'll see what we can do. I'm rambling. He's annoying, and we're done. So everybody, take care. Have a good time.
Alright, so I hope everybody enjoyed the episode tonight. There was a lot more of a conversation between Mitch and myself, about 3 hours or so, maybe a little bit, maybe closer to 3.5 hours. So here pretty soon, I'm gonna post some segments from the actual conversation up on YouTube as well, so you can check that out. And that dude knows a lot of stuff about film, so it'll be really nice to get out there and let him, because the conversations we have are so intricate, and it was really hard to write the narrative around it. So, with that said, yeah, I mean, so just look out for that. I think that's all I wanted to say. Everybody have a good night. Sorry about the interruption.
What are you talking about, Tessa? I'm home. Where else would I be? What do you mean acting weird? I'm not acting weird. Just had a lot on my mind lately, that's all. It's 9:30 tomorrow morning. United, Gate 5. I got it. I'll be there. I promise. Don't worry. I love you. Okay. Bye. What?
I swear, baby, I've just been sitting here watching Mad Men and missing my sugar mama.
Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad, was it?
Just sitting here, waiting for her to come home from her super important business trip.
Easy now. Seriously though, all the bases are covered, right?
Yes.
Okay then, pretend that I'm Nick and tell me where you are.
Spending the night with my cousin Erica, cleaning up the mess after our 49th breakup with that one
right,
guy.
I'm totally sold.
Quit worrying. Tonight's about fun, remember? We could have kids in the next 5 years' time. It's not on our side.
Right.
And we both agreed, one night, to finally act on an entire year spent pretending we don't want what we know we both want. Right?
Right.
Right. And then once that's out of our system, I marry Nick in a month and, you pop the question to Tessa. I mean, you're still asking her, right?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
See? Nothing to worry about. I mean, we obviously love them. So tonight's just one night of meaningless fun. One night. It'll be over before we know it.
You mean after we know it? Have you ever heard of string theory?
No. Are you asking me to tie you up?
No, serious. There are physicists who believe that there are these vibrating energy strings that make up different planes of reality. It's as if there are an infinite number of guitars playing an infinite number of notes, and each note is its own parallel reality.
Parallel realities.
Yeah.
So, there's a reality where we just get to go at each other for eternity?
Exactly. And there's a reality where Tessa's just as sexy and successful as she is now, except without all the control freak issues.
Or a reality where Nick's a little more sensitive or attentive or, I don't know, well read in physics, the cosmos. Question is, how do you get there?
Our exit. Hi.
Hey. Oh, sorry, it's,
No, it's okay. You can answer him
oh,
if you need to.
oh no, it's just an alarm.
Oh, okay. That's smart. Are you going to take your... I wanted to ever since the moment that I saw you.
Yeah?
You looked great in that dress. At the engagement party. Hanging all over Nick. You think I'd feel bad?
Sometimes it's good to feel bad. You know, I kind of like the idea of an alternate reality where you and me met a little earlier under different circumstances.
I like different circumstances.
Before Tessa and Nick Maybe out there on some other plane of existence, some other string where you and me were together. For real, you know? We're not married to them yet.
I need to get a drink. I'll be right back. Phone's dead.
Mine too.
Daylight savings time.
I don't think so. What's happening?
And check your phone again.
It's still dead. Tessa's pissed.
Anna, look at the time.
2:14 p.m.?
This can't be real. Christ, Anna, your nose. Are you okay? Grab your stuff.
Oh, wait, Seth. Oh, let's not rush out of here. Remember
You want to
what
wait
Tessa
around
said?
here? Well, from our time to magically disappear. Grab your stuff. Let's get out of here. We'll talk about it later. Anything?
You know what? Who cares?
Who cares? Anna, that's some trippy, metaphorical fucking shit that just happened to us. And your nose, Christ, you might have had an aneurysm or something. How do I say it without sounding like a goddamn wacko?
I think it's sort of beautiful. Like a miracle, maybe?
Check your phone again.
No. You know what? Well, what if this means something, you know, cosmically? What if we're not supposed to be with
I'm
them?
not supposed to be with you either. I'm gut-wrenchingly attracted to you, and maybe Tessa and I aren't the most compatible people in the world, but this is different from that. It's separate. And I have to deal with this apart from that. That's not to say that I wasn't excited about finally getting my hands on you. I'm sorry. You said one night.
I know what I said. Let's get out of here and don't miss our exit.